Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse with Quis of Sports Vibes TV. My name is George. Thank you guys for joining us. The question becomes, should Cam start? And now we're looking at this as primarily right now because Grimes is uh, not even playing. But I was also thinking about in terms of should Cam just so that RJ can shift down to a more natural position, guard. And Cam, and is there even an argument? Is there a case for Cam to crack that starting lineup? Because remember, Tibbs always says he's got to earn it, which is why I pulled these stats out. This is Cam's stats for the last 3 games. Because I stopped looking at the beginning of the year. That obviously Randall was playing totally differently in those first 3 games since then. So it made more sense. Let's just look at the last 3 games, the games that caused us a lot of pain and suffering. And here, it's clear to see when you look at the most important stats, according to Mr. Thibodeau, the offensive, defensive, and net ratings. Cam is number 1 in offensive rating in the last 3 games with 122.8 offensive rating. Just below him is Jalen Brunson at 117, and then Randall 10 points lower at 107, RJ's at 106, Mitch 107.8. And then Isaiah at 100 points. But look how low Fournier is, 94.8. Look at that, man. Look at that. And then you look at the defensive rating. Cam is 5th best in the past 5 games on the Knicks with 111.9, which is not a great number. I think that's more around the average. I think that's about that was what the average was last season, I believe. But one thing I want you guys to look at Obi and IQ. Look at that. IQ 96.5. 96.6. Rose is 96.5, but Rose's offense has just been atrocious, which is why he's a negative 22.7 in net rating. Yep. But IQ's defense, Obi's defense, those are outstanding numbers right there. So then when you look at the net rating, which is the chart in the middle, the first chart there, Cam is also number 1 on the team in the past 3 games in net rating with a 10.9. What is this? In fact, let's go to the next slide, and then I'll hand it over to you. I'm going to set it all up. So then I said, okay, let's keep going. How's the 3-point shooting? All right, well, Cam's leading the team in 3-point shooting, 42.9%. And Obi's right there, 40% on 5 attempts. RJ Barrett, past 3 games, 38.9%. So basically 39% for RJ on 6 attempts. That's nice. Fournier is there, 36.4. Whatever happens with Fournier, I expect that percentage number to rise up, whether he starts or comes off the bench, whatever it is. It's going to eventually rise. He's a great shooter, no doubt. But those are some nice numbers for 3-point shooting, especially since we've been struggling. But it's primarily 3 bench guys and then 2 starters. Then you look at the plus minus, which is I love that stat personally, even though I know there's a lot of controversy or whatever. But Cam leads there, 3.7. Jalen Brunson's second, 3.0. And then they're the only 2 in the positive. The rest of the team they're all negative, which of course we lost 2 of the 3 games this week. Toppin is the 3rd best there, 0.7. But then when you look at the overall field goal percentage, that's the part that becomes the most dramatic. Cam, 60% he's been shooting the last 3 games. 60%. So what's your feelings about Cam in terms of what you've seen from him? And whether his basically does he have a claim? Can he make a claim for starting as the small forward on the New York Knicks?
Definitely can make a claim. You see how well the team played yesterday with him out there on the court, and it puts a lot of players in more natural positions. You look at RJ, I think we've been saying it time and time again, I think he's better off at that 2 position. So if you put Cam in, you slide him down, you allow Cam to, pick who he wants to defend. If there's a player out there that's a little bit bigger or more physical, Cam has that frame to body up with them and be physical with them if he needs to be. And he also is quick enough to guard twos out there. We've seen him, at times guard Spider. He's guarded Maxey yesterday. So we've seen him be able to do that. And I think if he's going to continue to knock down the three, then Tibbs can't use the excuse that we need shooting. You see the efficiency of Cam over the last 3 games, and in the most important one, the one we won, he shot 100% from both the field and the 3-point line. So, and we also know that he's a solid free throw shooter. So you put all that together, and you see how it affects the lineup, that starting lineup. Because remember, we brought in Brunson. We knew Brunson was going to be somebody that can cook offensively and get us some points, but we all know he's still a defensive liability out there at times. So you can use a guy like Cam to try and hide him a little bit, especially if we're going up against, some marquee guards that could feast if they're given Brunson as a defensive matchup. So me personally, I've been saying it time and time again, Cam is the best option to start on this team. I think Grimes, when healthy, is a solid contributor, but I think he should continue to come off the bench, especially seeing that we have him under lock for another 2 seasons. It gives us enough time to really evaluate him. With Cam, we have this season, and that's pretty much it, because he'll be up for a new contract in this offseason. So me personally, you look at this squad, you look at the lineup with Brunson, RJ, Julius Randle, and it doesn't matter who the center is, whether it's Hartenstein or when Mitch returns. I think Cam Reddish is still going to be the best option for us at that 3 position, both what he can do as a two-way player and also the potential he has and chemistry he can build with a guy like RJ Barrett.
And they got some nice chemistry. They really do. They really do. One thing I did want to point out, because I saw our guy Kep, he was mentioning D Rose. D Rose is shooting 40% from the 3-point line. He's just struggling on finishing, getting around people. And he committed a lot of turnovers in the last game, but his 3-point shot has been there the past 3 games, though not on much volume because he hasn't really played that as many minutes. I hope he's just off to just kind of like a little slow start, that it's nothing major, because love D Rose on this in the Knicks-Verse here. In case you guys couldn't get a good view of these charts, I'm showing them full screen right now. Anything here in these numbers that kind of jump out at you?
Me personally, the offensive rating, defensive rating?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, before we came online, I was looking at Jericho Sims. That was way out of whack.
Yeah. To me, look at Mitch's net rating. Minus 20.5. Now that's averaging 17 minutes a game.
I thought Mitch is 22, minus 22.
I mean 22.
Yeah.
Minus 22.
Our friend Fournier is 20.5.
Our friend Fournier is 20.5. I need new glasses.
And I need some. All right, let's see.
I thought that jumped out at me. Mitch's net rating. I mean, look at his defensive rating, 123.9.
Yeah. And he's got DPOY aspirations.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next topic. Oh, small ball. I keep forgetting about our little overlays here. Small ball working? Yeah. I tweeted this out during the game, or I guess it was after the game. After RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish joined Obi, Randle, and Brunson with 6:42 left in the game, the Knicks outscored the Sixers 25-13 to win it. But there were some scary moments there. But those four free throws by Randle and the pass to Obi for the 3 were, I mean, that was a big change. He doesn't do those, we don't win this game.
Yep.
So that's the key about a small ball lineup is everyone has to be like it. You can't say, oh, everyone has to be connected as a motive. No, it has to be, or else it doesn't work. You don't play the same way when you're small as you do when you have a regular lineup with a rim protector. And so
you don't have that help. You're on an island for the most part.
Yeah, and we're I think our guys are used to the idea that okay, if a guy gets past me, there's always someone back there to clean up. Yeah. And even before it was, 2 years ago, we had Mitch and Nerlens. Yeah. And then last year, It was mostly Mitch, and we had some Taj. Then Nerlens did. I keep forgetting he played.
Yeah, right.
He was so injured. So small ball worked. Quis, did you have doubts that it could work?
I had some reservations. Not to start the season, I had some reservations. But once we saw Obi start to shoot the ball the way he's been shooting, I really didn't have too many concerns. But to start, yeah, because the last time we saw small ball, we really didn't see. It wasn't a great showing. I think, especially with teams that had bigger lineups out there, they were really able to exploit us if we tried to use that lineup. But you look at the way the 76ers were yesterday; they didn't have Embiid. They really didn't have anybody that can dominate down low. So it was the perfect scenario for us to try and employ a small ball lineup because we knew the 76ers weren't going to have a beast in the paint to really get the one up on us. So I think that just set itself up perfectly. Everything aligned for us perfectly. And I think we can probably do the same thing in this game with the fact that Horford's not going to be playing. There's no Robert Williams. So we could see the same thing where we see the small ball. We see Obi and Randall out there on the court a lot of minutes tonight. That's why it was pretty interesting when he asked how many minutes we'll see for Sims, because it all depends. If Tibbs uses that small ball lineup with heavy minutes, then we might not see too many minutes from Jericho today. I think we'll see some, but if the small ball lineup continues to work and Tibbs stops being so hard-headed and actually employs it, then we won't see too many opportunities for Jericho Sims.
Yeah. Jericho. The small ball lineup doesn't really work with Jericho because he doesn't. Wait, did he attempted a 3 right in the summer league? I think he did it.
I think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's got to develop that more because the key to small ball is everyone who's on the court can shoot, can score in multi levels, at least 2, preferably all 3. And with Brunson there, he can do. He's got the mid range game, he's got the finish, and he's got the 3-point shot. RJ, the 3-point shot, I showed you guys. Actually, I showed you the top 4. RJ, Obi, and Cam are all shooting about 40%. And better from the 3-point line. All of them can drive and finish. The mid-range game on those 3 guys, we haven't really seen it yet. Once in a while they hit a shot here and there, but we know it's in their bag. They just don't pull it out that much. Randall is the one weak spot from the outside shooting in that respect. But you have to have somebody with some size out there. And he's still a threat. He still creates gravity, Thibodeau's favorite word. He still can drive, and when they collapse on him, if he finds the guy, like, oh man, when he found Obi for that 3-pointer on the corner, that I think that's when they finally took the lead. That was fantastic. Randall in the first half would have tried to shoot that ball, but the second half, small ball Randall, knew that his better choice was to find the guy who's open, and he did it. It's the key with him. But if Randall's 3-point shot can get up to 35%, that could be sweet. It could be very sweet.
Randall almost dribbled the game away a few times yesterday too. I'm like, oh man, it's like 2 or 3 of those same turnovers he had in the first quarter, he could have had in the fourth. And I'm like, oh, this guy here. Whew.
Yeah.
It's tough watching him, man. It's tough watching him.
It was really tough. I believe last year's team underperformed. And with all the troubles and the issues we had last year, we were only 4 games below 500. We won 37 games, which is more than the Pelicans even won last year. And they were a playoff. They got into the playoffs. So this team underachieved last year. The mismanagement, misalignment of the players, the minutes allocation of the players. If a player's not out on the court, he can't perform for you. If he doesn't get enough time out on the court, they can't get into a flow. Guys like Cam are rhythm guys. Obi started out that way, remember, as a rookie?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He had to adjust. Some guys can learn it and adjust it. And I think maybe Cam is also learning it. But at the same time, if you give guys time to fail and figure things out, trial and error, if you have quality players, which all these guys are quality. I was looking at one point thinking, look at that. Lottery, there were 4 lottery picks and a second rounder. That was that closing unit. 4 lottery picks and a second rounder. That's quality. Now, is there superstars? No, there's none of that. But the whole can be greater than the sum of its parts. But that the way the parts are adjusted, the way the parts are used, is instrumental. I don't believe you can just give this lineup, this roster, to any coach and they still perform the same way. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
Especially if you're not putting priority into developing the youth and giving them time to shine. I think it's very possible that the most effective lineup against the most effective small ball lineup against a team that has a larger point guard. So last night was Maxey. He's little, so it's not as big a deal. But a team that doesn't have size in the middle, but has size all around, it might, like having Quinton, when he's healthy, play the 1 along with the other 4, could be a really interesting, small ball lineup. What's your feelings about that? And I think we actually have talked about this before a little bit.
Yeah, we mentioned it because Grimes played point guard heading into college and things didn't work out. But we saw him this offseason and in the summer league trying to work on and fine tune his ball handling skills and things like that. And we saw some promise in summer league. So if he's able to continue to develop that, get healthy, then he can definitely be an option in closing minutes. I mean, we did see Tibbs, go offense, defense with Brunson and Grimes, and moments of last night's game. So it could happen. I mean, I think Brunson, with what they've done, trying to bring him in and what they've paid him, I think he'll, for the most part, be entrenched as one of the closers. But if there is a situation where we do have a larger guard that is giving him fits and we need to make a change, then Grimes could be an option. I mean, Quick could also be an option. Quick is solid defensively.
Quick could too. Quick could too.
6'4", he's 6'3" or whatever the case may be, with a long wingspan, and he played solid defense, so he could be an option at that point, at that position as well. And we've seen him run the second unit, so I think right now he might be a little bit ahead of Grimes.
We've seen him play with the first unit a lot.
Exactly.
He's had I don't know how many minutes, but he's logged a lot of possessions with the starting unit next to Brunson. And vice versa. Brunson's played with the bench as well, which got to shout out Tibbs for that. That he's been experimenting, even though he's been doing it kicking and screaming. I think I tweeted out something like he acts like a little kid who has to be forced to go to the dentist. He just bitches and complains about it, but then he does it. So it could be IQ out there as well. Depending on those big guards. For example, the Pacers. Now,
Halliburton.
Like a Halliburton kind of guy. You don't want Brunson going up against a guy like that.
Halliburton been balling, bro.
Oh, yeah, he's been balling.
Halliburton and Mathurin going to be a dynamic duo for years to come.
Oh, and Mathurin. Oh, well, we here on the Knicks-Verse, man, we were crying out for. I said, remember that was one of the scenarios in all those draft videos. Yes, I know Ivy and all that stuff, and we'd love that. But what about like a little mini trade up to get to that like 6th position, 7th slot? Grab Mathurin. Yeah, I just had a feeling he was going to be fantastic, and he has been, man. When you look at his
numbers,
off
the bench too.
Off the bench, fabulous. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for watching this. My name is George. This is Quis. Subscribe to both our channels if you haven't done so yet. Very much appreciate that, and we will see you around the Knicks-Verse.